and this is the long-awaited weekly Raft Show. And here are your hosts, Yo-Yo and Nora.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to Twrs, the weekly Raft Show, where it is winter and we look back on what we have done last summer. This week's partner is Dr.Bronner biodegradable soaps. More on this later. You can also win something this week. But first, let me show you my biggest weakness. We have lost something. It was raining yesterday and we did set up the tent fly. And one of the poles was here and is not anymore. I think it's down there, but it is really deep. We can't reach the bottom. So I think we need to admit that it's our first loss.
Our mission was to get trash, not to leave trash behind. So
You know what?
what?
It's wet. No, we can mount the GoPro to the thing
Yes.
and take a look.
Okay, so one last try.
Let's see.
Found the tent point, and now the question is who is going for a dive? You already asked me if I would go.
I'm afraid of deep water where I can't see the ground. Shall we play? Or
We could, but also maybe it would be good for you to face your fear. This is your chance to shine
yeah, maybe.
or to learn something new.
Maybe it is.
I don't want to push you.
Thanks. That is very kind of you. I mean, I could give it a try, and if it doesn't work, you could.
Okay, but I mean, maybe I also will not be able to get it.
Yeah.
So, worst case scenario, we're both wet with no
Tent pole. It's not that cold, the water. I don't like to be with the eyes open as well. Es ist wirklich. It's so stupid. But I am scared. I don't know why.
Fear is irrational.
Yeah.
Great job.
It was terrible.
Oh,
Right,
das ist ein quick one. Gut.
Du hast gesehen.
Du hast es gesehen?
Ja.
Mission rescue the tent pole completed.
By the way, this was not the first time this happened. The year before, I already lost a tent pole in the same way. But it was on a place where it was, I think, 12 meters deep. So you could only go there with, I don't know, an underwater robot maybe. Anyway, partner of this week is Dr.Bronner. They make biological degradable soaps, which we could use quite a lot. And yeah, so we made some videos for them.
We feel quite clean because we swim in the lakes almost every day.
But from time to time it is nice to have hot water and soap. When using soap outside in nature, it's important to use biological degradable soap. That is soap made out of ingredients that can degrade in soil and don't cause any harm to plants and animals. These soaps should also not be used directly in a lake or river, but 60 meters away, so that the soil can serve as a filter. Same goes for the toothpaste and all of the other stuff. Other use of soaps from Dr. Bronner's, with an S, are washing of fruits and vegetables, washing dishes, washing your face in beautiful sunlight, juggling, and doing laundry. For this we have this practical bag that has some ripples in it to help rub out the dirt. You can then just leave it for some time, rinse it again, and hang the clothes to dry. This week you can win something. Namely, you can win one of these present sets. What's in there? Let's take a look. It has a magic balm for your hand, skin, whatever. You have a lip balm, that's for the lips, especially now in winter, quite useful. You have a 18-in-1 citrus soap. That's the one that we also mainly used for washing things. And you have a toothpaste. The one in yours will be still full. We have used this already. How can you win? You have to question the following answer. The answer is 60 meters. So what's the question? You can send it to this email address. Unfortunately, for all of you watching from the rest of the world, it's only for Europe. So everyone who's located in the European Union, I think also Switzerland, that's also still okay. But in Europe, you can participate. So that's why I also won't convert the 60 meters to feet. Anyway, what's the next video? I have nothing written here. I have to look it up on the phone. Oh yes. After being quite remote for a couple of weeks, the season now fully started and we go back to a tourism hotspot. We have another piece of trash. It was in the forest over there.
What is it?
It's a buoy. But it's not floating anymore. And now we go through the lock. The lock in Gustavsfors connects the lakes Västra and Östra Silen, east and west. It has 2 lock chambers and a total height difference of 5.3 meters. It's the most used lock with, I think it was around 6,000 passings each season. Most of these passings are canoes, as it is in the intersection of popular canoe routes. It's also one of the 3 locks that are operated a bit longer after season. And not always were we successful with avoiding crashes into the sidewalls. We needed to fix some things on the flip mechanism, so we made use of the convenient height of the pier before we continue our route against the wind. Until the evening, when it calmed down. When anchoring on land, we use 3 points to fasten the raft. The first one is the anchor. Then 2 ropes attached on land. And once those are fastened, we pull ourselves back towards the anchor to get away from land again. This prevents the raft from bumping against the shore at night. And so we had one more evening in silence before the next day. Back in Gustavsfors. What was a quiet place 2 weeks ago has now become one of the hotspots for teenage camps, canoeists and people in their nice boats. And somehow we didn't quite fit in.
It's so loud. And it's also weird how I'm now confused by this, because those noises or sounds are familiar, but not from the near future, but like quite far away. But it was so quiet all those last weeks and months, so now I'm just a bit overwhelmed by everything. So maybe it's good to be here, to not get too much in a bubble. And it's nice to see people laughing and jumping in the water, but it's just loud. Yeah. We will stay here until tomorrow.
So we just participated in the noise with our loud stove and a lovely dinner. And the next day we were squirrels fetching our supplies.
We are back to where we've already been 2 months ago.
See you in summer.
We had placed firewood supplies on strategic points on our route beforehand. But since we didn't know how the weather was going to be, it was difficult to estimate the amount we would actually need.
More? It's so much and the weather is so good, so we don't really use it.
But it's better to have too much than too little.
So the wood not only takes up space, but it's also quite heavy. It is going to rain eventually.
Maybe. We don't know. The weather forecast is quite good for the next 10 days.
Yes.
Since we have only so much space on the raft, we took about half of the wood we had placed there. The other half I picked up in fall by car. So we left the settlement of noise behind us and continue our way further south towards more civilization. The quiet days are probably over now, but the most exciting passages regarding the locks in the Dalsand Canal lie before us. And exciting it will get. It's good to be away from society for some time, but people are social beings, and alone we won't survive. I think it's about finding the right balance between living for yourself and living for others. And today we still enjoy the time alone together. thank you very much for watching. And remember, it's always better to be clean in nature than dirty in a city. Float well. But first, let me show you my biggest weakness. My biggest weakness. My weakest weakness. My biggest weakness. Yeah. Okay. One more time.